Hare Krishna, this is Rambhoru at Bhakti Care. I wanted to respond to a comment, query from one of our conference members who asked me to clarify uh, the difference between pastoral care and spiritual care. I had in my last clip talked about or used pastoral and spiritual care in the same breath. And indeed, they're simultaneously one and different in the United States. This person who asked me to clarify these two terms that I used interchangeably expressed that in the United Kingdom, in Britain, the pastoral care is the term pastoral care is specifically used to refer to clergy who do ministry to their parishioners in their religious traditions or organizations. And so they're very, very different. The reason I use them interchangeably is that in America, as the chaplain profession becomes more and more integrated into healthcare, what used to be called the pastoral care department is more and more being called the spiritual care department. Chaplains are more and more being called spiritual care providers. So we use them interchangeably simply because a lot of people don't know the term chaplaincy and spiritual care, what that is, what we do, but they might be familiar with the term pastoral care. Indeed, the word pastoral care really came from the Christian tradition who began this work, particularly Protestant Christians, of this work of going into hospitals and ministering to folks as part of their service to God. Word pastor comes from the idea of shepherding, pastoring, that the flock or the members of the congregation need to be cared for and tended to. So yes, correct. Just how they use it in Britain, the original term pastoral care does indeed come from a part of a pastor's service is pastoring its people, is hospital visitation and counseling to one's parishioners. So it would be more internal to one's religious organization. But as the profession has grown and more denominations, more religious traditions have become involved, like we now have a growing population of Buddhist chaplains who are developing their own certification program, and we have Jewish chaplains. We have a growing population of Islamic chaplains. More and more, the term is being broadened to understand that pastoral care in a professional setting really means interfaith ministry. It really means connecting with and supporting people through their crisis, and particularly in hospital settings, but otherwise anywhere a person is experiencing a dramatic shift in their life, and which impacts their values and the way of making meaning. So I appreciate the question. That was a good question, because indeed when you're talking about pastoral care, it is often understood to be religious tradition specific. But we use those skills as spiritual care providers and chaplains in America. We draw from the literature. There's a vast pastoral care literature that we draw from, and great models for that are coming out of the Christian tradition. There's a growing literature, particularly around palliative care, that talks about empathic listening and supporting and being present and journeying with the person in crisis in terms of a healing modality and its impact on a person's physical illness and wellness and getting well. I'm not sure what else to say about that, but just wanted to lift that up, that there are, in America, we use that term interchangeably, particularly.